All right, everyone. It's that time of the year again. That's right. It's time for the presidential debates. Now, as everybody knows, some people like to sit around and wait to discuss their next sport team season, who's going to win, who's going to do the best. Some people like to sit around, wait for the next favorite musician or band's album to come out. I personally can't wait for election season because presidential debates and debating overall is one of my favorite things to do and watch people fail to do. So let's dive on in here. What I wanted to do was go over the notes I have. We'll discuss who is debating on Wednesday night, which is tonight, then who is debating on Thursday night. While also doing this, we'll look at who I expect to do well and who I expect to tank in these debates. I've also got some guesses on who will drop out before the Iowa caucuses and who might possibly endorse other candidates that are running. So let's dive on in here with the first night, which is tonight. Again, you can catch the live debates on MSNBC, NBC, and Telemundo are all broadcasting it live. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube as well. Some other places will probably be streaming it. So let's start from top to bottom. To start off, we have Julian Castro, who's the former Obama housing secretary, followed by Beto O'Rourke, who ran against Ted Cruz and lost. He is at 3.6%. Sorry, Julian Castro is at 0.9%. And then we have John Delaney, who's a former representative of Maryland. He is also running and on the debate stage. He is at 0.6%. Followed by him is Mayor Bill de Blasio from New York City. He's polling just at 0.3%. Tim Ryan of Ohio, he is running at 0.7%. Then we have Tulsi Gabbard, who's on here from Hawaii. She's at 0.6%. Followed by Amy Klobuchar, who's from Minnesota. She's polling at 1% currently. Then we have Cory Booker also tonight. He's from New Jersey. He's polling at 1%. He's polling at 2.3%. Sorry there. And then we're followed by Elizabeth Warren, who is the most popular candidate on this debate stage. She's at 11.9%. And then finally, we have Governor Jay Inslee, who is from Washington State. He's polling at 0.3%. So not too big, not too crazy of a debate stage tonight. A lot of people I know think that tonight is going to be the more boring one. I agree. There's not too much that's going to be out of the box on this stream, on this debate stage, sorry. Again, I've got two marks here. The most progressive candidates on here, by far the most progressive candidate on this debate is Tulsi Gabbard, and then I have Elizabeth Warren also marked here. Other than that, I don't see any of these other candidates really having anything to sell to voters. I don't think it'll really help them in the polls. Beto O'Rourke, we know he isn't really too good of a public speaker. He can talk fast, he can talk a lot, but can you comprehend and understand what he is actually saying? That is on a person-to-person basis. And then, like I said, we have Mayor Bill de Blasio, who jumped in the race late. I don't understand why he's running. I think he should just go back, be mayor, maybe run for another position in the state. But I don't see Bill de Blasio making it to Iowa, in all honesty. So that goes to Tim Ryan of Ohio, another cookie-cutter centrist Democrat. Not too much to say on him. He's just another corporate Democrat that wiggled his way into the field. Again, he's polling at 0.7%, so nothing really to worry about. And then we're back at Tulsi Gabbard. She's recently pushed an act in place to prevent presidents from leading us into wars without congressional approval. She's pushed for bills to stop arming terrorist organizations with United States weapons and taxpayer dollars. She's also was one of the first people to support Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan. So I'm really excited that Tulsi Gabbard is running. I'm really happy she made it on the debate stage. She's a voice we need. She's also somebody out of all these candidates running that probably really understand what's going on when it comes to foreign policy, which is a big critique of the Democratic Party. A lot of people say that Democrats don't have a strong foreign policy or don't know what really they're doing when it comes to foreign policy. So now let's move on to Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Again, she's, if you watched her debates or town hall, more so on CNN earlier this year when they first had everyone have an hour of their own time to make a mess of themselves. That's exactly what Amy did. She made a mess of herself and her campaign. Any questions she had in terms of Medicare for all, tuition-free college, anything that was overwhelmingly supported by the public, she shot down as, oh, it sounds like good policy, but I'm a representative. I was elected, so clearly I know better, which is just her letting her corporate donors do the talking. So again, I don't think she's going to go too well. I don't think it's going to help her campaign with these debates. I don't see her making it to Iowa. Again, she's polling just at 1%. She's been steady at 1% her whole campaign. So again, I don't think she's going anywhere. Then we have Cory Booker of New Jersey. He's polling at 2.3%. People are familiar with him. He voted against Bernie Sanders' bill to make importing medication cheaper. He's flip-flopped on Medicare for All. He's taken money from Safariland, which, if you remember earlier this year, there was an instance at the Tijuana border where U.S. Border Patrol fired tear gas over into Mexico. That was from Safariland. That was their tear gas that was used, and that is a company that's donated to the Booker campaign, and from what I've seen, I haven't been able to find anything showing that they returned that money. So again, he's taken dirty money, he's worked against progressive movements, and now he's trying to come out and act as a progressive, so we call bullshit when we see it. So then we have Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Again, she's the most popular Democratic candidate on this debate stage. I think she'll do well. We've never seen her in a debate of this style in this capacity. So it'll be interesting to see how she does. I'm sure they'll ask her about her student loan plan. But other than that, I just don't see her doing too good. She's gone wishy-washy on Medicare for All again. I know I've read that in some few places. She stood silent on Standing Rock. That's my big gripe with Elizabeth Warren, is she stood silent on the whole Standing Rock movement. So again, I think she'll do well. I won't hold a gripe on her where I won't vote for her if she somehow managed to be the nominee, because again, I think it's going to end up coming down to Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and possibly Kamala Harris if she climbs back up in the polls. I thought Kamala Harris was going to be up there a lot longer. But now that we're done with night one, let me just say one more time, I'm looking forward. I'm going to keep my eyes on Elizabeth Warren and Tulsi Gabbard, because those are my two main people I'm paying attention to in those debates. Anybody else, I don't think they're going to perform too well. I don't think they're a threat to those two candidates. So now moving on to Thursday night, same time, same channels, MSNBC, NBC, and Telemundo. Again, make sure to record it, watch it, check it out on YouTube after, whatever you can. Make sure to get informed and watch it. So, starting off, we have author Marianne Williamson, who is polling at 0.3%. Andrew Yang at 1.1%. Joe Biden, who's the most popular Democratic candidate, is at 31.9%. Followed by Mayor No Policy Pete Buttigieg at 7.1%. We also have Eric Swalwell of California. I couldn't find any polling numbers for him, but he did get on the debate stage, so we'll keep an eye out on him as well. Bernie Sanders, the second most popular Democratic candidate in the race, is also here at 15%. Kamala Harris of California, she's at 7.1% in the polls currently. Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, 0.3%. Michael Bennet, Colorado Senator, and the fossil fuel industry's bitch, he's polling at 0.4%. And then finally we have Hickel-Hooper, who's a delegate. Bad on me, I forgot he was running. I also forgot that he made it on the debates. So I don't have any numbers for him either. But he's probably under 1%, I'd imagine. Anybody in their right mind that thinks Hickel-Hooper can beat Donald Trump or thinks he is the actual candidate we should be electing, not the brightest. Not the brightest in the box is all I can say. So, the main people, this is the heavy hitter one. This is what I'm saying. This night, Thursday night, is the night to be there for. Thursday night, you don't want to miss. Thursday night, you want to be there for the mess. So, start off, I'm looking forward to hearing Marianne Williamson talk. I'm curious to see what more she has to say. She's got a good voice when it comes to anti-war movements. She comes to good points when it comes to climate change and as well as corporate America. She ran for a Green Party seat, I believe, on the Green Party ticket, in California for a senator seat, I believe it was, in 2013, I believe. It was somewhere around there. Point being, if she's Green Party, she knows what the fuck's going on in the progressive world for the most part. Then we have Andrew Yang. He's somebody I supported at the very beginning when he announced. I've kind of fallen off the hype train of the Yang gang. His UBI is great. It's a start, but it's a really poor Band-Aid. It's one of those dollar store Band-Aids where you go, it says it's water resistant, you throw it on, you get a tear on it, and it just whittles away and falls off, and you're like, what the fuck? That's kind of what his UBI is. Again, he doesn't support a living wage. He doesn't support tuition-free college. Yang is a very big hit-miss kind of guy, and mainly misses. So again, I think Andrew Yang is a libertarian and a Trojan horse. I don't really think he's going to get above 3%, in all honesty. I do see him running till the end, possibly until the primaries. But other than that, I don't think he'd continue on. So then we have Joe Biden. Uncle Joey. Big ol' no Joe. Big ol' cup of no. That guy is on the debate stage also tonight. I think he's going to tank. He's not a good speaker. He's not doing good recently at events when he's speaking. If you listen to him, there's instances of him slurring, and he just doesn't sound as informed and educated on the subjects if he doesn't have a piece of paper in front of him telling him what to think and say. So again, Joe Biden, I think this campaign is already on its way out the door. I think he shot himself in the foot plenty of times with the instances to segregationist comments and so forth. So yeah, I don't see Joe Biden as a threat. I think these debates are going to hurt his campaign, not help him. And like I said from the start, I've seen Joe Biden's campaign as just a fundraising tool for the Democratic Party. Because as we all know, since Obama, the Democratic Party, the DNC, has had financial issues. So I don't see Joe being a problem. Joe Biden's legacy was with the Obama administration, and that's where it should stay. If he wants it, he should keep it that way. And then we have Mayor No Policy Pete Buttigieg. Again, I don't think he's doing too hot. If you saw his recent town halls or where he was confronted by protesters of police murder, he's got some own issues to handle back at South Bend, such as the people that lost their homes in the black communities and people of color communities lost their homes through Mayor Pete's gentrification process, where he claimed he was going to help clean up South Bend and give people new homes, and instead he left a lot of people homeless and without help. Again, if you haven't seen his recent town hall he held, it is very clear that he has his own issues at home that he should be focusing on, and he's nowhere ready to be the president of the United States. Nowhere to the level of being a national leader. So maybe down the road he can come back and try to run again. Wouldn't probably get my support either still, but that's where we're at. So again, I don't think Mayor Pete's going to do too good on this debate stage. He's got no policies. His website is still very blank. He's got a bunch of Wall Street bankers and stuff running to his campaign, so that should say enough. We need a working class politician back in the White House, not another corporate politician. So from Mayor Pete, we have Eric Swalwell of California. Again, I don't have any information on him. I don't have any polling numbers for him either. Couldn't find anything about him. Me and Danny from Body Politic were talking about him. He's from California. He's familiar with him. He said he hasn't done anything. He said he's just another cookie-cutter Democrat. So again, don't expect too much from Eric Swalwell, who's probably polling at under 1%. Followed by him, then we have the big man on campus, Bernie fucking Sanders. Again, I think he's going to do well. Bernie, we know, he's very good at debates. He can handle his own ground. He can toss around punches when need be. So I'm curious to see how he does, what the questions more likely are going to be surrounding the debate. I'm curious about a living wage, curious about the tuition-free college plan he's proposed, if they'll bring that up, a living wage, if I didn't say that already. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things, and Bernie Sanders is pretty fucking on point when it comes to debates, so I'm not too worried about him. I think, again, I've got him with 2 arrows right here, so it's looking good for Bernie is how I see it. I think he's going to handle himself well. So after Bernie, we have Kamala Harris of California. She was a former prosecutor and DA in California. A lot of controversy surrounding her. She supports Medicare for all, which is great. She understands climate change to a point. But when it comes to criminal justice reform and the war on drugs, she says she's against it, but as a prosecutor, she was very for it. So again, I don't think Kamala Harris is going to really do too much. Again, it just depends on what questions are asked during the debate. That being said, let's move here to Kirsten Gillibrand of New York. She's at 0.3%. I'm kind of surprised she kept running. In all honesty, I don't see her making it to the second debate stage, especially just sitting at 0.3%. She's not even halfway of percent of being in the race. So again, I'm not going to be surprised if too many of these candidates that are polling under 3% end up dropping out for Iowa even. So then we have Michael Bennet, who's a Colorado senator. Colorado's got a lot of big fossil fuel and oil money up there. Michael Bennet has pushed for fracking and such. He's anti-science in that sense. He claims to understand some senses of climate change, but he won't tackle it. So again, fuck him. He's another corporate Democrat that's letting his donors do all the talking. And then we have Hickelhooper. He's another delegate. I don't see him as a threat either. I think he's going to shoot himself in the foot. He's polling under a percentage point. So, I'm not worried about Hickelhooper. I don't think those guys are going to be a problem. I think the problem is going to be the many progressive voices that are going to be, bouncing back and forth off each other. I don't want any inner squabble. I want the progressives to stay united and fight against the centrist Democrats. That's what we need to make sure we fight against, the centrist Democrats. We can't fight against each other for not being, you're not that progressive, or in that sense. We need to unite behind people like Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Maureen Williamson, and, Elizabeth Warren. I know she's got some nicks and pieces there people will disagree with me on in the comments about her. I know she's not my favorite, but I do like her more than any of these other Democratic candidates we have, that I haven't mentioned that I support. So I'm not shooting Elizabeth Warren in the foot as an option for me to vote for when it comes to the election time. If she ends up being the general pick, I'm voting Bernie in the primaries. So that's basically those two nights summed up. Now, I like I said, I'm looking forward to Bernie Sanders. I'm looking forward to hearing what Kamala Harris has to say. Maybe she can turn around and pull out some progressive policies out of her ass. Andrew Yang, just curious to see how he performs. I'll be keeping an eye on him and his policies. And again, Maureen Williamson, I think she's going to perform well. I think she's a fantastic talker. I think she'll do really good. So again, I'm curious to see how that goes. So now that being said, let's go over some quick things here. The people I think who are going to do good is Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Yang, Maureen Williamson, and Kamala Harris. Those are people I think they're going to be able to hold their own ground in these debates. I think they'll proudly gain some points in the polls as well. The people who I think will do bad overall is Joe Biden, Beto, John Delaney, Amy Klobuchar, Tim Ryan, Julian Castro, Mayor Pete, Hickelhooper, and Michael Bennet. Because, as I mentioned when we were talking about that in separate cases, I just don't think any of those guys can do a debate. I don't think they're mentally prepared for the debate. I don't think they have the cognitive skills to debate. It's just a whole mess. I think it's going to be a whole lot of nothing with most of these candidates. When they came out, it was a lot of cookie-cutter centrist Democrats, and we all knew it was just bullshit to flood the field from real progressives. So again, keep your eye out on that. Don't fall for fake progressives. And the people I've got under I don't know how they will perform is Jay Inslee and Kirsten Gillibrand. Again, I'm really curious to see how they act and handle the debates. I think Kirsten will probably do all right. Jay Inslee, again, I haven't seen him in too many debates, so I won't know. I don't know what to think. So that's where I'm at with that. Now, early dropouts by Iowa. Some of the guesses I have here are Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Mayor Pete, Hickelhooper, Amy Klobuchar, Julian Castro, and Tim Ryan. Those are just some of the people I think could possibly drop out before Iowa if their poll numbers don't climb up. If they don't drop out and their poll numbers don't climb, I'm sure it's just going to be a mess for their campaign, and it's just going to affect other centrist Democrats, because in the end, I hope progressives don't get split up on who to vote for when it comes time in the primaries and the general. I hope they all unite behind Bernie Sanders. I'm curious to see who people end up coming out with their VP picks, because for me right now, I'm stuck between either a Bernie Gabbard ticket or a Bernie Turner ticket. But other than that, I don't really know what else I'd want to see out of other candidates with their VP picks. Bernie Sanders has said that he wants to choose a female to be his VP, a young female candidate. So again, that's why I'm not really focusing on any guys in this sense. So let's look at some endorsement guesses I have here. Now, some of this is just some off the bat stuff that I was going through from people's connections and stuff outside of just the campaigning. I think Cory Booker would drop out to endorse Kamala Harris, possibly. I think Gillibrand and Klobuchar, they would probably split between Harris or endorsing Warren, I believe. Hickelhooper, I think he'd drop out and endorse Joe Biden because that's just how old white centrist Democrats stick by each other. And then I'm not sure, Mayor Pete could be a Harris endorsement. That's what I've got here marked. I'm not sure who else Mayor Pete would endorse besides her or possibly Joe Biden. And then finally, I think Julian Castro will drop out and will also endorse Joe Biden because they were part of the same administration. As I said, Julian Castro was the housing secretary under the Obama administration. So again, it's just two bros sticking together. But that's all I have for this debate conversation. I just wanted to give some guesses and comments and how I thought it was going to go before the debates took place tonight. Now, that being said, on Friday night, myself and Danny from Body Politic will be doing another live stream together to discuss the debates afterwards once they're all completed. Now, that will be taking place on my YouTube channel also. That'll be at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, that's on my YouTube page. It'll be me and Danny of Body Politics. But that's all I have for you guys on this video. Thanks for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment and like below.